Gombe State has read the Riot Act against children abuse in the state. The state government issued the warning at the launch of the campaign to end violence against children in the state. The Deputy Governor, Mr. Charles Ilya, assured the residents of efforts to stop all manner of violence against children.
According to a UNICEF report, Nigeria accounts for the highest number of out-of-school children worldwide, with about 10.5 million children roaming the streets. The report, which was published in 2015, also says that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys in Nigeria had experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. The report further adds that 6 out of 10 children in Nigeria experience emotional, physical or sexual abuse before the age of 18, with half experiencing physical violence.
We say no to inhuman corporal punishment.
These statistics provide the motivation for these children to add their voice to the campaign to stop violence against children. At the launch of the campaign, UNICEF and the Gombe State government are coming together to issue a warning to stop every form of child abuse.
I would like to assure you that the government of Gombe State will work assiduously towards implementing policies and programs aimed at ending violence against children, and any individual or group found wanting will face the wrath of the law.
UNICEF is committed to support the government of Gombe State in its effort to fight all violence against children.
Religious bodies, judiciary, legislature, traditional institutions and law enforcement agencies give their commitment to stop the ugly trend.
The Nigerian police, Gombe State Command, is proud to be part of it. We look forward to such collaborations.
UNICEF says it's taking this campaign to all the states of the Federation to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, which seeks to end abuse, exploitation, trafficking and all forms of violence and torture against children.
Tonight on our Focus on Health, safe water, proper sanitation and food safety are once again highlighted as critical elements in the prevention of cholera infection. With the rainy seasons here, our correspondent Yomi Otaigwe reports on the need for intensified surveillance by states and how individuals can prevent cholera and also get prompt treatment to avoid fatality.
It leaves its victims almost lifeless from severe loss of body water. Cholera, an acute intestinal infection, is caused by the ingestion of food or water contaminated by bacterium. The World Health Organization estimates that every year there are roughly 1.3 to 4 million cases and up to 143,000 deaths worldwide owing to cholera. Cholera outbreaks occur almost every year in Nigeria. Figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control show that between January and the second week in May 2017, 12 states have reported outbreaks of the disease in 15 local government areas, with a total of 83 suspected cases and 4 deaths. Cholera bacterium occur naturally in coastal waters, but the incidence of the disease increased during the rainy season.
This is the time we are likely to have flood, to experience flood, and especially where we have poor sanitation, where people don't have toilet facilities, where open defecation is a common practice. Flood water will carry contaminated water to mix up with water we use for our cooking, for drinking, so the risk of having cholera outbreak is very high now.
Aside from the rural areas where streams and rivers are major sources of water, other areas to watch out for cholera infection are camps for internally displaced persons. With thousands of people in multiple centers in Nigeria, more efforts should be put in place to prevent the emergence of the disease. Apart from the contamination of water, other frequent sources of cholera infection to note are raw fruits and vegetables. With incubation period between a few hours and 5 days, death toll from dehydration can be reduced with prompt treatment.
Only 20% of people that are exposed will have symptoms. 80% don't have symptoms. And furthermore, out of the 20 that have symptoms, only another 20% will have severe symptoms. And somebody come with these symptoms, profuse vomiting, severe diarrhea, is classical the rice water stool, that's what we call it, look like rice water, and there's dehydration. That patient needs to be evacuated to a treatment center, usually an isolation ward, designated by the local government or by the state. In that place, they will manage conservatively. In trying to manage it at home without adequate knowledge, it could lead to spread among the household. However, we encourage that when somebody has these symptoms, better you start something at home. A simple thing that could be started at home to prevent dehydration is using ORS, rehydration, the sugar and salt solution, that could be done.
Although the World Health Organization approved cholera vaccine that provides short-term effect during outbreaks are available in over 60 countries, Nigeria is yet to benefit fully from this. However, prevention remains better than cure.
Important thing is for us to be aware of this and to make sure that we practice our hand hygiene, food hygiene, at the same time to clean our environment and to discourage anything that can cause flooding.
The source of drinking water is very, very important. We should ensure that we drink wholesome and quality water. And if we are not sure of the quality of the water, what we can do is to boil. Boiling keep all the germs, and we are able to have water that we are sure will not cause illness. And in situations where we have people congregate together, like in an urban slum, or when you have people living in camps like IDPs, government should make sure that at this point, when we are rainfall, special attention is paid to their water supply and to how they dispose of human feces to their personal hygiene.
768 suspected cases and 32 deaths from cholera were reported in Nigeria in the year 2016. It is essential for every state of the Federation to intensify disease surveillance so as to nip in the bud potential disease outbreak that could lead to preventable deaths. Yomi Otaigbo reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, many have complained about the drop in the standard of education in the country. But lately, though, a new concern has been expressed about the level of sexually explicit material in the books of children. This worry is pushed forward by the Association of Concerned Mothers, ASCOM. At a press conference in Lagos, our correspondent, Miriela Leisov reports.
In this room are mothers and some fathers who are troubled about the content of their children's books. The Association of Concerned Mothers, ASCOM, is not new and had, along with some other groups, taken the state government to court 15 years ago, with the result that some sections which were offensive to them were taken out of the children's books. But the complaints have come up again.
Children are taught ways to give and receive sexual pleasure and develop closeness without sexual intercourse, such as kissing, mutual masturbation.
They did what's called watermark inscription across the pages. So when the students are reading it, they are seeing something like, my mother is a harlot, my father is an armed robber.
They also give instances of offensive content in literature texts, which they say are recommended reading for junior schools, with words so sexually explicit that they cannot be shown on television. Subsequently, a verdict is given.
Sexuality education is primarily the responsibility of the parents.
In addition, the group is against the passing of the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, a bill they believe will promote permissive behavior among children and youths. That may sound shocking, but they contend that all components of the bill have already been provided for in the Constitution and other enabling documents, except one that, according to them, matches the UN provision which states in part, that all member countries must develop and implement training material and educational programs for the comprehensive education of youths and adolescents on human sexuality to modify the social and cultural behavior of all men and women in order to eliminate prejudice.
We know what the World Health Organization has said about sexuality, which they have said encompasses thoughts, desires, eroticism, pleasure, among other things. So if you're going to have a UN-recommended educational program on human sexuality, you can be sure that included in it, you're going to get talk about eroticism and pleasure and thoughts and desires and fantasies.
Some doctors think that's harmful.
Because pleasure is what attracts all persons, but it is maturity that makes a person able to balance pleasure, consequences, and the all-round desires or goals of that person.
The permanent secretary of the Lagos State Ministry of Education confirms that some of the texts are in use.
The review that we are doing now, we will ensure that such vulgar languages are reduced to the barest minimum.
He goes on to throw light on the reason behind the inclusion of obnoxious subliminal script in textbooks.
The publishers, as a security measure, they put it there so that if somebody is trying to pirate those books, then those features will come up. But if you go for the original textbooks that we have in our custody, those marks are not there.
But parents will tell you they are everywhere, and there's no excuse for that.
I saw the vice principal, and he did a sample around the class, and all the books he took, they were all, and that's why I knew that this is really, it's big. That means it's everywhere.
It's been confirmed that Lagos State is currently reviewing education content for its schools, and the permanent secretary believes that going forward, it will be more palatable for students and their parents. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Let's shift gears now, shall we, to business news, and Anwaldo's got details.
Thanks a lot, Gimba, and welcome to Business News. Ahead of the release of Nigeria's inflation rate for the month of May by the National Bureau of Statistics, FSDH Group is projecting a fall to 16.13% from 17.24% that was recorded in the month of April. A report from the group says the decline is mainly as a result of base effect from the increase in the pump price of premium motor spirit in May 2016. According to FDSH, the food price index recovered in the period by 2.19% compared with the revised value for the month of April. The appreciation of the naira at both the interbank and the parallel market by 0.15% and 3.66% is another factor for that projection. It is necessary for Nigeria to keep an eye on its rising debt profile, currently standing at 11.16 trillion naira. That's according to the chief executive of SFSL Asset Management, Mr. Tola Odukoya. He told Channels Television today that investors are very concerned about the capability of the federal government to service these debts. Let's see how the Nigerian equities market fared throughout the week. It traded on bullish momentum through the week, except, of course, for Tuesday. The all-share index gained by 6.07% to close the week at 33,276.68 points. The market capitalization also gained 658.58 billion naira, representing a growth of 6.07% to close at 11.50 trillion naira. A total turnover of 3.1 billion shares worth 29.18 billion naira were traded in 33,677 deals. Thank you for watching Business News Tonight. I'm Anne Nwawado. The rest of the news continues now with Gimba.
We're still ahead on the news at 10. Super Eagles lost to Bafana of South Africa in the 2019 African qualifiers, and that's coming up in sports news. Stay with us.